Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Absolutely wild day out there today. Just wanted to mention first thing, we really appreciate all the support. Absolutely, you guys are great. That's the motivation for me to continue making these daily videos and putting them out to the public. Seeing how they're helping people, seeing how people enjoy them. That's what gets me going and that's what has me make these videos. But a lot of people are waiting to get in the chat room. We absolutely understand that. Just want to let everybody know what the situation is. At this point, we've had thousands of people wanting to join the chat room ever since cryptocurrency blew up over a year ago. And it's the kind of thing where, imagine a classroom. This is the example I use. If you have 100 people in a classroom and all of a sudden 500 other people want to join the classroom, it's going to be a much less productive space. So you're going to have more questions. You're going to have more disorganization. One of the things that people like the most out of our chat room is how organized and on topic it is. The great job our mods do organizing things and putting, messages where they should be, deleting off topic messages, things like that. And it's the kind of thing where, we, at this point, we should have raised our rates by now. And anybody that has any, background in business would say that we're being really dumb right now, because for the past 6+ months, we haven't raised our rates, although demand is through the roof. And the reason that we don't want to do that is because I remember where I was in college learning how to trade stocks, and I would not be able to afford higher prices. I don't want to cater to the elite and people that are already well off to learn how to trade. I want to have it open to more people, a broader base of people. So that's the reason we're not raising our prices. But in terms of not letting more people in, we're letting people in at a trickle, 2 people at a time. Sometimes we open up to 4 people a day, then we slow it back down again because it gets overwhelmed with people asking new questions. We have a very significant, or I should say a very clear routine in terms of how we do things. And this is 3 years in the making for the Chart Guys, where we have our system, we have what we do on a daily basis, we have our routine, and that's how we're able to consistently profit, by sticking to that routine. So when people come in and they are asking questions about where's the live video and where's this link and what does this mean and all this, it's great. We want to help everybody, but it obviously is a bit, it slows things down. It slows down the flow. So we answer every single question asked of us. I answer every single question asked of me. And that is, there's a cap there. There's a scalability issue. I can't answer 400 questions a day. I can only answer 150 questions a day. So that's the reason that we have capped membership. And again, we're doing everything we can. If Slack could allow a view-only mode where people can come in and not talk in the chat room and just view what's going on and look at all the different chat rooms and watch the live stream, we would do that in a second. But Slack does not offer that feature, and it's really holding us back, but that's just the way that it is. So again, we appreciate all the support. We're doing everything we can to get people in, and let's get into some technical analysis. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Yes, there is a background buzz, and that's air conditioning, and I'm not going to turn it off. So I'm going to look at CGC, WEED, Cron, APH, ACB, TLRY, OGI. It's been a wild day. There is a ton to talk about, and I'm going to do my best. And first things first, I'm just going to present a few things. I already have my very clear, viewpoint on what I feel happened. Here's a timeline of events of what's happened. And remember a couple of days ago, I said when the shorts start to establish their positions, then we're going to see the negative article come out. Then we're going to start to attempt to scare retail, things like that. We're obviously seeing that in a very big way at this point. So the timeline of events. First off, I had a red day. And I certainly have red days. Every single trader does. If you are going to be a trader, you better get used to being wrong, because if you are a day trader, you're going to be wrong pretty often. And it's keeping those times you're wrong to small losses and letting those winners run to solid gains that's going to keep you ahead of the game. So I took a loss because I swung Cron and CGC. I'm not a swing trader. I am a day trader. And this was me getting greedy. Absolutely. I can reflect upon that and zoom out and look at the situation. My account's been running to all-time highs probably 80% of the days the past 2 weeks. It's just continuation of a beautiful move. August has been wonderful. I wanted more. I wanted to go for the big win after hours. I don't regret swinging because we closed right under the all-time high on Cron, and we closed at the high of the day in Canadian MJ. What I do regret is the size of the swing positions that I took. I took on a higher risk, higher reward play, and I shouldn't have done that, obviously. So that's my lesson. I took a solid loss. I was fortunately able to exit 30% of my Cron swing after hours for a small profit. And then, of course, I took a loss on everything else. And it really got down to the point where there was a point yesterday afternoon before after hours closed where there was a bid for 20,000 shares at, what was it, 12.65 on Cron. And I was going to sell into that bid, and I was filling out the order, and it was up there for about a total of 35 seconds. I missed that trade by 5 seconds. That would have been a complete shift in how my day went. So that's how small that these decisions can get down to in terms of the difference between, I mean, that was a 5-figure difference if I had gotten that order in. So it's a game of inches, and the key word is it's a game. And you better believe that the big boys behind the scenes, what did I call it in the other videos? I said it was the wizard behind the curtain. I said that it is, that was referring to the S&P 500, but the wizard behind the curtain in this scenario is retail big money. They run this show. They do what they want. And whether it's all legal or not, who knows? It doesn't really matter. The amount of inside trading, the amount of illegal things that go on in this market on a daily basis is very significant. So we have to accept that if we're going to play this game. Otherwise, we're just going to be sitting there and saying, why me? This isn't fair. They need to be in jail. And who cares? You know, if you're playing this game, that's what it is, all right? We have to accept that. And if you can accept that, then we can play the game. And if you can't accept that, you're going to be complaining a lot and you're not going to be happy. So these big money movers are doing what they want with the price. What we saw happen is Cron closed at the high of the day on the brink of all-time highs on huge bull volume, extremely strong. As soon as that bell rang, we started seeing selling pressure, and we started seeing shorts making their move. And again, that's because once that bell rings, the volume that is required in terms of dollar and share amount to drop the price lower is way insignificant compared to what is required during the regular trading day. So we saw that bear attack. I mentioned it in the video yesterday. I said, I don't know what this is. You know, it's maybe bears establishing a position. It's very clear that people were shorting and people in the know were shorting. And I have no doubt in my mind that Citron and CNBC, not CNBC, the entire, you know, news network, but people in the know in CNBC were shorting. Again, this is all my opinion. I'm not doing any defamation, libel, slander, whatever. In my opinion, I could imagine a scenario where CNBC, people in the know, and Citron are shorting yesterday in the last half hour of the day at the strongest point up at what, 1270s or so. As soon as the end of the day hits, this is what I would do. I would short 75% of my position right before the bell. Then with the 25% remaining, I would short after hours, and I'd drive that price down, and I'd get some stop losses triggered. I'd get people frightened, and they would sell. Then CNBC comes on at 5 o'clock and says, the Canadian MJ sector, blah, 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 blah. We're looking at TRST. I would buy TRST. I wouldn't buy Cron. So dogged Cron a little bit, instantly dumped on that news. Let's look at it. So we're going to look at Cron on the 5-minute time frame. Dumping in the US, so we need the after hours. Again, you have to be looking at after hours if you're trading this sector. But Cron after hours yesterday, where are we here? So here we are up in the, this actually doesn't look like the, I have to edit this out. So here we are, after hours yesterday. And we had a strong close. We got up to 1280. We pulled back. We closed at 1274. And then the bell rings. And we dump. So here's the initial bearish action. We closed up at the high of the day. Initial bearish action. So this is where I would sell the remainder of my 25% shorts and fill my positions. Then we saw a little bit of a recovery attempt. And then here we are. CNBC talks about Cron. We absolutely dumped. Saw a significant recovery. This is where I tried to get that 1265 sell off and I just missed. And then pre-market, we see further weakness. So actually, I take that back. I would go 60% short at the end of the day. I'd go 20% short after hours. I'd go 20% short pre-market. And then what do we have? We have Citron comes out with a bearish article, bearish everything on Cron. So their new target is Cron. And we all out dump. And this is what I'm talking about with the shorts, putting out news or putting out articles and having the herd look in their direction and react to their direction. So before any of this bearish action came out, I have no doubt that all of their positions or the majority of their positions were filled and they're now just locking in their profit and walking to the bank. So what we have in this instance is a group, Citron. Look up Citron, look up Andrew Left, watch Dirty Money on Netflix, the episode about the pharmaceutical industry. He's in it. And that's what their company does. It's part of the game. It just is the way it is. Whether he should be in jail, whatever your opinion is, it just doesn't matter. It's the way it is, and we have to accept that. So a lot of people were hurt. This is a perfect lesson for stop losses. But I was out of Cron in extended hours because I saw I made a mistake and I ate my loss. So I had a big loss today, bigger than normal, because when I am in day trade mode, I take my losses very tight. I have stop losses everywhere. So this was a much bigger loss, and it took away a couple days of gains on the week, maybe even the week's gains. I'm going to have to do some math. But the bottom line is I have losses too, and I learned a lesson. I got greedy. I wanted a big win. My account was at all-time highs. I was looking for more, and now I learned my lesson. So what I do, I pump the brakes. I trade a little bit less. I slow down. I reassess things. I have a long weekend coming up. I'll be able to clear my mind and get right back into the game refreshed on Tuesday. So where we stand in this sector right now, we know Citron's attacking Cron. We know that, in my opinion, there was some kind of communication between CNBC and Andrew Left. And here we have Andrew Left coming on CNBC in less than a half an hour, just after 5 p.m. Eastern. And guess what? He's going to talk about why Cron's a terrible company. Do you think it's a coincidence that CNBC says sell Cron yesterday after hours, and today Andrew Left and Citron go short Cron during regular trading hours, and today after hours, Andrew Left is coming on CNBC after hours to talk about how Cron's a dog? That's not a coincidence, all right? If you think that's a coincidence, I've got a moose to, insert phrase here, whatever. Something to sell you. The bottom line is CGC is seeing the scenario that we played out yesterday. Scenario 1 was a bull break to all-time high. Scenario 2 is an equilibrium. High, low, lower high, and we're looking for a higher low. I'm not convinced that we've formed it yet, but I am convinced, well, not convinced, but I'm thinking it's a likely scenario that we're going to hold 41.15 at least into next week. So I think the daily range is going to tighten up, and what that tells me is this range is going to be choppy while we're within this daily tightening range. Volume's going to drop off, volatility is going to drop off, which means trading opportunity is going to drop off. So that's what I mean by pump the brakes. I'm going to be nowhere near as aggressive as I have been recently compared to what I am going to be doing the next couple of days. I'm going to slow down and wait for the trades to come to me. So for CGC on the hourly time frame, let's actually look at the 4-hour. I like it. It's nice and contained. Support is 43.12 and 41.15. Resistance, we had a brick wall up in the 46.40s, and we pulled back from there today. At the end of this video, I'm going to attach, I did a midday update I gave to members over some of the trades and things that we're seeing, so I'm going to attach that at the end of this video. And we are looking now, can the Bulls hold 43.12 tomorrow? If they can, that's absolutely a win for the Bulls. If they cannot, we're going to look at a potential bottom fishing entry with 41.15 as a stop level. So those are the two things I'm watching. A break of 46.45 is needed for a very clear bull break at this point. And we don't have that, and we're not close to that level, and I would be very surprised if we get it. Another factor, so much to talk about, the S&P 500 pulled back today. So the S&P 500 is pulling back because it's been running at all-time highs. It's due for healthy daily consolidation, but we had Trump with trade tariffs with China, 200 billion more, so that's the negative reaction. At this point, SPY has nothing to worry about. It's still very healthy on the daily and weekly. It's just the shift in momentum and sentiment that has us looking for daily consolidation. But I'm not going to go into it now because this is going to be a 30-minute video if I do, but look at the 2-minute and the 5-minute time frame for CGC and SPY, and look at when the bounces today occurred, both the late morning bounce and the late afternoon bounce. Both of them correlated to SPY. There were 2 times today where I looked at the CGC bounce on the 5-minute time frame and I said, wow, that's a strong bounce. And I thought, I wonder what the cause of that is. And then I said, oh yeah. And I looked at SPY, and SPY was doing the same thing, and it made sense. I'm talking about this move right here, and I'm talking about this move at the end of the day. Compare what SPY did right there during that time frame. So for CGC, we've got our levels. For WEED, we've got our levels. High, low. Make sure your magnet's on. Alt-H is how I draw these lines, and the magnet is nice and sticky. So right now we're watching pretty much an inside bar. Not exactly, because we did break to a lower low by 8 cents. But we're watching 56.01 support, and I'm anticipating 53.13 to hold, at least the first attempt. We've got resistance at 59.83 and then 62.79. So again, tightening daily range. So now that we know what the sector leader is doing on the daily chart and what it looks like, we can compare everybody else to that. How do the individual names look? Are they more bullish than CGC? Are they more bearish than CGC? So we go to Cron. Obviously, Cron is more bearish. All-out dump. Gaps are filling. We're going to see probably some further push to the downside after hours with Andrew Left coming on CNBC, but you better believe that a lot of that is priced in. People know that Andrew Left is coming on CNBC. So while we are expecting some downside, not expecting an all-out dump, I did have some Cron puts on the bounce. I entered Cron puts here on this lower high right here in the 970s is when I entered that. And I was planning on holding through the end of the day, and then I saw that we weren't seeing a bunch of bearish pressure into the end of the day. We're actually seeing some shorts cover a little bit. So I said, all right, I'm not going to swing Canadian MJ again. I learned my lesson. I'm going to take that profit. but it's going to be interesting after hours because a lot of that is priced in, and we did already dump 30%. Support is 882, and next support after that on the daily is 762, but we do have another support level before that. $8 psychological is a level to watch. And when we bounce on the 4 hour, we're going to look for a lower high to be set and for the bears to keep control of daily consolidation for the time being. Obviously, there's a lot of bearish sentiment now around Cron. So Cron favoring the bears on the daily chart. On any bounce, we're looking for a lower high. APH, we saw the bulls buy the dip most significantly on Tuesday. It stood out to us. Wednesday, we saw the follow through. Thursday, we saw the follow through. New all-time, excuse me, sorry, don't mean to tease you there. Not an all-time high. New high of the bounce, 1695. So that tells me APH is very clearly more bullish than CGC. We got a higher high. We're nowhere near our must-hold daily support of 1334. And we will anticipate a daily higher low to form on any consolidation if we are dragged down with the sector. The sector correlations between these individual names are now changing with all this Cron action going on. So we always got to be comparing to CGC, and we always got to be comparing to SPY. So that's what we're watching on APH, the 4-hour time frame. Very healthy. Support 1531 is the first level to watch. So 1531 breaking would tell us daily consolidation is coming, and we'll look for the higher low compared to 1334. What happens if we lose the higher low of consolidation on these daily time frames? That tells us the weekly chart's due for consolidation, and we'll start to see the weekly chart pull back, but even that will be healthy. If you're a long-term bull in CGC, you got nothing to worry about. We're going to set a weekly higher low on this pullback. ACB, daily time frame. In the middle of the road, pretty similar to CGC here, not a big difference. So high, low, lower high, and an inside bar. 863 and 860 are support. If it breaks, we'll look to see if the bulls can form a higher low compared to 818. Resistance is 910 and 938. 4-hour time frame, there's that support of 863. It's tight, high, low, lower high, trying for a higher low. And ACB is not seeing as much volatility as these other names. So it's in this nice tight pattern. We're looking for a break of this nice tight pattern. TLRY. I am still astounded at how these bulls are holding up, as are a lot of people. You almost feel like they're the next target after Cron. But what we've got is healthy consolidation on the daily chart. So let's look at the 4-hour. Lower highs, losing the higher low, but still not much follow through. Support is 55.55, and there's a lack of support after that level. Look at the 15-minute time frame. Actually, let's look at the hourly. So after this level of 55.55, we got nothing to 49s. 49.25. So just keep that in mind. It's a clear hourly lower high. Anything under 60.80 is just a lower high, keeping the bears in control overall. And it's healthy daily consolidation. We don't have a higher low to go off of because of the all-time high reaction to earnings. Anything above 49.50 is a higher low. So the bulls are still just fine on TLRY and holding up surprisingly well. OGI, we saw that significant follow through. Again, we got the clues on Tuesday. Lead buying of the dip. Followed through Wednesday, followed through Thursday with continuation to new all-time highs. So we're going to form a higher low on consolidation compared to 541 unless there's a disaster. And the bulls will maintain an uptrend, much more likely to maintain the uptrend than the names that are in an equilibrium because we've already broken to higher highs. 4-hour support, 625, 613, and then we're looking down at that 541 level. So bulls still very healthy. This is a very healthy 4-hour time frame overall. OGI and APH are the strongest technical names in the short term. Cron is obviously the weakest. CGC is in the middle of the road as the sector leader. ACB is with CGC in the middle of the road. TLRY is up there with OGI and APH in terms of strength. TRST, we want to talk about irrational markets. So like I mentioned on CNBC yesterday after hours, they said buy TRST, don't buy Cron. Look at this TRST US stock, Trustco Bank Corp. This is after hours. We closed the price at 915. After hours, the price runs up to 990. This is what we're dealing with here. This is the herd rushing to their computer and buying the wrong stock. So that's funny. Hopefully that wasn't you. So that's where we stand in this market. Again, this is the Wild West to a certain degree. This is absolute mayhem in terms of constant information coming at you, in terms of needing to establish a game plan or you will succumb to your emotions. And it's just, we have to, again, accept that this is part of the game that we signed up for. And otherwise, you're going to be a very frustrated and unhappy person, and your significant other is going to get really sick of hearing you talk about it. So, from, again, where I stand, I'm patient here. I'll take bullish trades. I'll take bearish trades. over the next couple days as they give me clear setups on whatever time frame it is. But as long as we are in this daily tightening range, I'm going to be extra conservative and extra protective. CGC gave us more 2-minute opportunity this morning at the open. Again, we've been talking about how the 2-minute time frame is significant. Let's look at today's action. So here's the start of the day, and what we had was a change in the trend. So we had the low of the day, lower high, higher low, bull break. That bull break occurred at 44.62, and we ran all the way up to 46.11. So again, use this 2-minute time frame. It gives you great information in the first half hour of trading. So I appreciate you all watching. Again, appreciate all the support a lot. Having a lot of fun with this sector. There's no doubt about that. But it is certainly overwhelming at times, and today is one of those days. Take a deep breath, get outside, clear your head. Remember, it's only numbers on a screen, and it's only a game, and detach that emotion from that money. We'll see you soon.